everyone, and welcome to Stampin' Chat Live. I'm Gina from Gina K Designs, and it's great to see all of you coming in from all around the world. You may have seen me in this outfit already once today. This is my second live of the day. I was live earlier on Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine's YouTube page. We did a lunch and learn today at around 12:30 Central Time. And then I ran and did a bunch of other things, and now I am back. And this time I'm going to be working still with a little bit of foil, but we're going to be doing some coloring stencils, and we're going to do a fun layout tonight. But before we get started, let's say hello to Tom. Hey, Tom.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, how are you? There he is.
The crafter dinner crowd. Whoa.
Oh, you know, it's one of those.
Hi, everybody.
One of those nights. How are you?
I'm better than horrible, thank you.
Yeah, it's a good day today.
It is.
It's a good day for crafting, that's for sure.
Yeah, you're having quite a run here.
I am. I did foiling tips and techniques all afternoon, right? And
Yeah.
now we're going to do a little bit more foiling, but we're going to focus a little bit on a fun card layout.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
So you ready?
I'll be watching.
You ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right. Well, earlier today, I was doing a little bit of foil, and luckily, I have my fuse foiling system right here on my desktop, and I'm going to turn that on and get that heated up. So I flipped it to the on position, and I'm going to set it to setting 3, which is perfect for Poly-Glaze. Now, for those of you who recently saw our new kit, we have a brand new kit that recently sold out, but all of the components in this kit are going to be available in February. We've got more on order. Now, I don't know if it will be in for our release because some of it has dyes in it, and China is on holiday, and that's where our dyes come from. So it may be a little bit delayed, but we do have this one coming as a standalone Stampin' Die bundle. And we also have coloring stencils for this one and coordinating Poly-Glaze sheets. So I thought tonight I would use coordinating Poly-Glaze sheets. My video I did last Thursday, I used this whole stamp set and I made cards using just about everything in this set. So tonight I thought I would feature some of these beautiful Poly-Glaze sheets, and we'd add a little bit of sparkle and shine. And I do want to send a huge shout out to Brianne Loveland, who is in the chat. Brianne is helping tonight with all of the links for everything that I'm using. So if you're going to... if you're looking for anything on the website, Brianne is going to share that with you. And I have to tell you, Tom, you know what Brianne did? Brianne knows that in just about every single video I use my ink stands, which I love so much. Brianne is giving our viewers a special code to purchase these ink stands. So Brianne, help me if I'm wrong. Help me. I believe it's 15% off, and the code is GK15. So if that's right, Brianne, if you could put that in the chat. In case anybody is looking for ink stands, tonight is a great night to get them. And I have to tell you that Brianne also has ink stands that fit our Electropop inks too. And she also has ink stands that fit our ink cubes too. So, I mean, if you're over there, you know, with that kind of deal, why not get one of each? 2 of each, right? A couple of each. Can never have enough ink stands. I will tell you that right now. In fact, I have a bunch of them here that I'm going to pull out for tonight. Love my ink stands. All right. So, Brianne, thank you so much for that. Your kindness is so great. I really appreciate it. Okay. How did you know I want another one, Dorothy said. Because, Dorothy, I want another one. And then I get that one, and I want another one. So we're all the same. Okay, so I have an open pack of this Poly-Glaze here. And also, Brianne, thank you for helping with all the links. That is very helpful for everybody, including me, because sometimes I don't even know what something is called, and Brianne already links it before I even use it. I'm going to use the Poly-Glaze design that matches this stamp right here. So that's this here. You can see it if I tilt it a little bit away from the light. And if you're new to Poly-Glaze and you didn't catch the video earlier, Poly-Glaze is similar to, maybe you're more familiar with toner sheets. And toner sheets are printed with black toner that when you run it through a laminator, it will grab the foil. Poly-Glaze is actually a clear coating. We have that coated over some gray ink just so that you can see the design, so that it's not, if it was just clear, it would be really hard to see it. And the clear glaze actually adheres the foil. So that's what we're going to be using tonight. And if you want more information on foiling, I have a whole playlist that has, gosh, it's got 40 videos on it by now, all about foil. And it just keeps growing. In fact, I'm going to add the Lunch and Learn to my playlist because it was a good video today and I showed you 10 different things that you could do. So if you're new, that's a great video to run over and catch after this one. So I'm going to be using some 14 karat foil for my card. This is still sitting out from earlier, so it's a great one to use. And I'm going to foil these beautiful flowers using the 14 karat foil. Now this is the fancy foil. You can use other kinds of foils. You can use ThermoWeb, Deco foil in the plastic tubes. You can also use their Color Harmonies line if you want more colors. We've got tons of colors in our collection that you can pick from, and you can find them all on our website. You can also find more things on ThermoWeb's website. So, and if you're looking for the fuse, I do have to say that ThermoWeb still has some fuse machines, but ours are on the way as well. It just might take a little while for us to get them because they have to travel halfway around the world by boat, and they are on the water right now somewhere. So I'm going to use this piece of foil. I'm going to use my fuse foiling system, and I am going to get a carrier sheet. Let me find my carrier sheet. Now these carrier sheets come with the fuse. We also sell them separately if you need more. And I'm going to clean mine out because I was using like plush paper, which is like a flock kind of paper. And then I was using embossing powder, and I was really getting dusty. The thing that you want to make sure when you're foiling is that you remove all the dust from the surface of your Poly-Glaze and also the back of your foil, because anywhere the dust gets in between, you want to make sure that you get rid of that or it won't allow the foil to adhere. So I'm going to use my Swiffer duster cloth, which is an anti-static cloth, and I am going to put that into my carrier sheet and run it through the fuse. Now the right setting for Poly-Glaze is setting 3. If you set it any higher than that, you may get overfoiling. And overfoiling is where you get speckles of foil in places that you don't want it. So if you're experiencing that, it might just be too hot. When you dust with the Swiffer duster, doesn't the dust get left behind the next time you use it? The cool thing about these Swiffer dusters, I don't know, I've used them like once to dust my house. So, but one thing that I've noticed is that when you use a Swiffer duster, the dust stays on the cloth. So even if you have dust on the cloth and you go to dust something else, it doesn't transfer the dust that's on there onto your project or onto your furniture or anything. It all sticks to the Swiffer duster. So that's pretty cool. It doesn't transfer back onto your project. Okay, so we're going to give this a second to cool off. And then I'm going to use another Poly-Glaze design. I'm going to use the Flurries. Now, Flurries aren't necessarily snow flurries, although they can be. They're actually just little tiny dots that look like ink splatter and then little tiny stars, which just look magical. So you can use these any time of the year, but the reason we called them Flurries is because I released these, I don't know, a year ago, maybe more than a year ago, 2 years ago. I released them during the holidays. And so it was kind of fun. They kind of looked like little snow flurries, and so we called them Flurries. But they are not flurries. They are definitely little speckles and little stars. So I'm going to clean this off too. And then I'm going to get another piece of this 14 karat foil, a big one. And one of the things that you want to make sure is that when you are foiling your design, you have a piece of foil, that it covers the design completely. You don't want any of that poly-glaze sticking out on the sides. The white cardstock can stick out, but the design can't, because the design is going to melt when it goes through the fuse, and it will melt onto your carrier sheet. Now, if that happens, your carrier sheet is fine. It's not going to ruin it, but it might be a little annoying because every time you run it through, it's going to kind of stick together in those spots. So you can see here, I've got every bit of those little stars and dots all covered up. And I am going to pop that into my carrier sheet again, and I'm going to send this through. You can use a regular laminator for foiling. However, you're going to get, I shouldn't say you're going to, but quite often with laminators, you don't get the same level of pressure and heat that you do from the fuse. And you can't control the amount of heat. So some people, the machine is just too hot. And then you end up getting a lot of black spots on your toner because like you're overcooking the toner and it can't melt anymore. Kind of think of when you're using embossing powder and you're using a heat tool and you overcook the embossing powder and it loses its shine and it can't melt anymore. That can happen with a laminator because it might be too hot. It can also happen that the laminator doesn't get hot enough, and it doesn't allow the polyglaze or toner, if you're using toner, to melt properly. So you get iffy results when you use a laminator. When you have a fuse or even the mink, because the mink also has different settings, you can control how hot the machine is. So that is just something to consider. If you're looking to buy a laminator, you might as well buy a fuse or a mink. Because, I mean, the fuse is $69. So, you know, a good laminator is probably a good one in the 50s. So, you know, you might as well buy the one that's made for crafting. But if you already have a laminator, I wouldn't run out and buy a fuse or a mink. I would try your laminator first to see if it works. You know, it's kind of like good tools are so important, right? You can get really frustrated when your tools aren't working the way you want them to work. And sometimes that $11, $15, $18 difference causes you a lot of grief. You might lose a lot of toner sheets that didn't come out the way you want, or you might lose a lot of polyglaze because it was spotty or it was overcooked, and you know. So you got to kind of weigh one against the other. And remember, you only have to buy that tool once, and you're going to have it for a very long time, and you're going to get a lot of pleasure out of it. So weigh that against, you know, am I going to try to save a little bit of money buying a regular laminator when I know that this is designed for this purpose? But of course, it's up to you and what works in your budget. So no pressure. I just want to throw that out there so that you can consider all of your options. Okay, so now I am going to peel this off, and we'll see the beautiful floral design under here. Look at that. Perfect foiling. Everything foiled just perfectly. I like to do that real slow so that you can see that. Isn't that pretty? And we are going to color that in with our stencils. Now you can keep this and you can use this on our white Poly-Glaze sheets so that you could get the negative design, and you could cut this out with dies too. But I'm not going to be doing that today. That is in the earlier video, so you can see how to do that if you wanted to check out this afternoon's Lunch and Learn. And then I am going to open this up and pull this out, and let's take a look. Megan, Andrew, and I were going back and forth. She likes the slow peel. I like to rip it off like a Band-Aid. But whatever makes you happy, one isn't better than the other. But look at how pretty that background is. Oh, that's so pretty. I really love that. All right, we're going to do one more thing. We'll save this background. But we're going to do one more thing. We are going to cut a greeting out. So let's pick a greeting that we want to use for today's card. And I'd like to use something a little bit bigger. So let me see. Thinking of you. You're in my prayers. You know what? I'm going to use that because I have a sympathy card that I have to make today. And this is going to be a good one, I think. Thinking of you, you're in my prayers. I think we'll do that. So I'm going to cut out the thinking of you. And let's see. Let's cut out the you're in my prayers. Right here. Okay. All of these are going to get cut out with the coordinating dies from the stamp set. That's what's really nice about the Poly-Glaze. We do Poly-Glaze designs usually for our floral designs that are in our kits. And it works out really well because we usually, we have thousands of kits that go out. And so then we can bulk produce the Poly-Glaze, which is great. And people already have the stamps and the dies. So if they want to get into foiling, it's so easy to just add that Poly-Glaze. Alrighty. The other thing I love about Poly-Glaze is the cost of the Poly-Glaze itself is very inexpensive. So if you like this design or you like this design, this method of foiling is inexpensive. And you get 10 sheets of this in the one pack. So that's like 10 cards. After those 10 cards, you may be like, I like the design, but I want to try something new. Well, these 10 sheets were only like $6.95. So you used everything, it paid for itself, you made a beautiful thing. But then you can go and move into a different design. Maybe you want a flourishy design or a swirly design. So it's so economical, and if you're like me, you like new things. And if you were doing a different kind of foiling with like the foil plates, that's fun too. But those plates are very pricey. So you better love that design and you better want to use it a lot. A lot. So this gives you an option to kind of break into foiling at a very inexpensive price. All right, I'm going to do both of these at the same time. And both kinds of foiling are really nice. There's nothing wrong with, the other kinds of foils. But I have to say that if you're like me and you're just dipping your toe in and you like to change things up and you kind of get sick of things after a while, we all do. Look at your craft room. It's kind of nice to just be able to buy little bits at a time. And if you love this design, there's always more packs. You can always get more packs. But I don't think, honestly, I hate to say this, but okay, let's say I bought 4 packs of Poly-Glaze, right? And so that would be looking about like $27, right? For 40 cards. I don't know how much a plate is, but I know like our cover plates are like, I don't know, are they $17, something like that? These cover plates might even be upwards of $20 or more. I don't think I've ever made 40 of the same exact card. I really don't. Even stamp sets that I use a lot and dies that I use a lot, I think I would get sick of it before I made a full 40. Or at least, I would have to get new ones in between. I don't think that I would make 40 all in a row. So, when you're looking at your budget, this kind of makes it nice to be able to just pick up a little bit. All right, so here we go. These are going to come right off. And there we go. Thinking of you. Love that. And you're in my prayers. Love it. Okay. So I'm going to save all of these bits and pieces because now out of these 4 designs, I got 4 things here, right? If I save all the negatives and use them with white Poly-Glaze sheets, I'm going to get 4 more. So that's going to give me 8 cards out of this. And that's another thing to consider. You might get 10 cards like this out of a pack, but then you're also going to get 10 more by using the negative. So it is pretty economical. All right. So Tom, am I missing questions, comments, people asking things? I'm going to turn this fuse off now. Alrighty. So now we are going to use our little grip mat. This is my double grip mat, my double background grip mat. If you haven't seen this before, this is a slab of photopolymer, just like a regular grip mat. But instead of it being plain on both sides, it's plain on one side and it's got two background stamps on the other side. So this way, if you want to have a fancy background stamp, you can have that with this. And I'm going to pop this onto the grip mat, and so that's going to lock into place there. And now I'm going to get the coloring stencils. Now my color palette for tonight, I felt like doing some purples. So I have the light, medium, and dark lilac. I don't know that I'm going to use the dark lilac. I'm probably going to use the light and the medium. Okay. And our next release is February 11th. So I hope you will join us for that. Let me move this over here. February 11th. I did see that question. Okay. So the stencil set comes with 3 separate stencils for the 3 different spring clusters that are in here. So I need to find the one for this one, which is, here it is, layer 2, right there. You can see layer 2. So I'm going to stencil this with some of the purple inks. So these flowers are split up so that you can do one at a time. And I'm going to, let's see. And the reason I did it this way is because I wanted to make sure that, you know, I could ink these individually in different colors if I didn't want them all to be purple, for example. I'm going to make these all purple today, but if you didn't want to do them all purple, if it was all one design, you wouldn't be able to separate them out. So I spread them out on the stencil. This way you could do one flower at a time. The ink stand code is GK15. Okay.
Okay, and Vicki wants to know, one thing I'm still not getting straight, is it better to ink before, no, lost it here.
I saw her question. She wants to know, should she ink first and then foil, or foil first and then ink? I like to foil first and then ink. However, it's really up to you. You can do whatever you want. So I just put my finger in my blending brush. You can do it either way. I like to foil first, and here's why. I find it easier to actually see the design once it's foiled, especially when I'm using coloring stencils. So I like to foil it first. It's really hard for me to see, you know, to line it up without that. Okay, so I don't care if I get a little purple up here because it's not going to hurt the design. I'm going to cut it out anyway. Can I address directional feeding of the foil into the fuse to avoid wrinkles? Yeah, I can, and I'll do that right now because that is a good question. So the first way to determine whether or not your foil, see, foil has a grain, all right? So if you look at the back of your foil, you're going to be able to see lines going down. Now, they're very hard to pick up on the camera. You got to see it in real life. So when you see the lines on the foil, I recommend that you go with the direction of the lines through the machine. So if my lines are going this way, I'm going to send it through the machine this way. If my lines are going this way, I'm going to send the foil through the machine this way. If you can't see the lines, and so many people have told me they can't see the lines, here's what I would do. I would take one piece of foil and I would foil it on one piece of Poly-Glaze. You don't have to do the whole thing. Just like cut a little bit off and try it. If it wrinkles, turn the foil. And that's how you would know. One way is going to wrinkle, one way isn't going to wrinkle. Sometimes neither way wrinkles. Sometimes foil wrinkles just because your laminator is too hot. So that's something else to consider. If you're using a regular laminator, it's not going to matter if it's too hot. It's going to wrinkle no matter what. But that is, you know, all things. I have my laminator, this fuse, at setting 3, I can run my foil in either direction and it doesn't wrinkle. So I haven't really had much of a problem with it. But when you do get that wrinkled foil, then you do start skipping, like you'll see skip marks in your foil on the design. So if that's happening, first make sure that you don't have your laminator too hot. If it's a fuse or a mink, you can knock it down a notch. If it's a regular laminator, you're a little bit SOL. I hate to say that because, you know, but it is what it is, and you want to be able to do it right, right? All right, so I'm going to use some light lilac here, and I'm going to go
And a question about
dark to light.
stencils. If you're having a problem lining up stencils, is it helpful to use the Misty with the grip mat?
It shouldn't matter. The grip mat itself is going to stick to your surface of your table. And the Misty with the grip mat really isn't, well, if you mean like other layering stencils that don't have color, like that aren't coloring stencils, yeah, then that works really nicely. Put the grip mat up in the corner and pop the stencil in place and pop the next stencil in place, and they should all line up. But for coloring stencils, we're trying to line them up over these lines. So that's not going to make a difference. The Misty's not going to help you there. Now I'm just going to blot that a little bit to pull any ink that is resting on the design, and then I'm going to pull this off because I think that coloring looks great. I don't really need to add any shading in there. I just kind of did it with the blending brush. I was going to use the medium lilac, but I don't think I need to. All right, so now we're going to do another design. We'll do this one down here, this flower. We'll line that up. You know, remember, if something didn't line up perfectly and there's a little white space, just go back and shift it a little bit and add a little more color if there's some white space. Don't worry about it. I mean, you know, if you don't nail it perfectly the first time, it doesn't mean you can't go back and add a little more color. All right, I'm going to put a Post-it note there, and I do want to prevent over here from getting color on it because, you know, I'm notorious for being a little bit big with my blending. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do dark at the bottom of all these flowers and just fade to light, so like the light is coming down on them. Okay, so it'll be a little darker over here. And then I'm going to lighten up my grip on the brush here, not really the grip, but the pressure, and just get a little bit lighter as I go up. Okay, and we'll take these off. Now, a lot of people are asking when, I should have dabbed that before I moved it, just to, I don't want to like rub ink off of the foil onto the design, but that's good. A lot of people are asking when I'm doing my next Master Layouts video, and that is going to be this Thursday. We're going to be exploring Master Layouts 2, and boy, that's a big one, you know. Master Layouts 2 is a very popular die set, so I have a few fun things to share with that. And if you didn't see the first video in that series, you can check it out. I started a playlist on my channel in the Master Layouts series, and we're going to explore all 17 sets of Master Layouts, and believe it or not, Master Layouts 18 is getting ready to debut. It's being packaged in-house right now as we speak.
And Carrie wants to know, why do you use those brushes versus the detail brushes?
Well, because I'm going over a pretty big area here as opposed to maybe these little leaves. And I'm also, so I want it to be more dusty looking. I don't need it to be so concentrated. I like the detail brushes for when I just want to get it into a tiny little area. So let's say I just wanted to add a little bit of a darker color down here. I might use the detail brush just so those bristles don't kind of ruffle over into the part of the design that I don't want it to be. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I apologize if that answer didn't make any sense. I've been live for a lot today. All right, and then I'm going to pat this one dry. Oh, these are pretty. I love this color. Love these colors. All right, now we have our last flower, and we'll line that up. So these flowers, although they are not all clustered together, they are lined up in the right direction for this design, so you don't have to be twisting it all over the place. So I'm going to add this Post-it note here, this one here, and then I'm going to do another one over here.
And Sweet Tea wants to know, are you going to do the ML series in order?
Yes, I am. I'm going to go right in order. I think that's the best way for me to do it because that's the way they were designed. And for example, Master Layouts 1 and Master Layouts 2 actually coordinate together in a certain way, which I'm going to show you on Thursday. So that's, you know, each Master Layouts was designed with the knowledge of what came before it. But tonight I'm actually going to use Master Layouts 13 just to do a fun layout for you. Okay.
And is there a plan for master layout videos beyond the 18 that would showcase the master layout sets that work together?
Yes, that is in the plan. So we're going to do 18, and I will be sharing in those videos what works together, but then I'm going to do a video that really mixes it up. I might have to do more than one video that really mixes it up. We might be doing master layouts, you know, for the next 10 years. Who knows? But isn't it fun to have that kind of video series where you know that you're going to learn so much about your investment? Okay, so there we go. There are our flowers. I love them. And now I'm going to clean this off with a little bit of alcohol. And then we're going to do our leaves. Now, luckily, the leaves are all just one big stencil that you can pop over this whole design. So that does make it a little bit easier. Now, I will tell you, my mat is stained, just like stamps get stained when you use certain colors, because photopolymer mats are also kind of the same as photopolymer stamps. Don't use alcohol on this grit mat. I have used alcohol before on my stamps thinking it was a good idea, and they lose their stickiness. So be very careful about that. Only use stamp cleaner that is intended for photopolymer stamps, or you could just use warm soapy water. Okay, so here we go. We're going to pop these right onto here, like that. That looks good. And then I'm going to put a Post-it note up here. Not that it should matter too much, but maybe just for my own brain, it'll feel better. Okay, I'm going to use the light spruce. And I'm going to use the bigger brush for this. And then I'm going to come back in with a little bit of medium spruce, I think. I've been using a lot of jelly bean green and fresh asparagus lately, and it's kind of nice to use this spruce color. The spruce green has a lot more blue in it. It's a nice color. It's a good Christmas green too. If you're looking for something that mimics pine, it's a good one for that. And it coordinates nicely with our Christmas pine too, and our Christmas pine cardstock. All right. Now once we get these done, then I'm going to go back with a little medium spruce. And here's where I'm going to use that detail blending brush. I'm going to get some of this darker color on there. And then I'm just going to add that real close to the bottom of each of these so you can see how that really deepens it up. And remember, our colors dry up a little bit. Not dry up like your ink pads won't dry up, but they dry up to the color on the lid. So this you might be looking at this going, wow, that's really dark, but it won't stay dark. It's kind of the same concept as when something is wet, it looks darker. I even remember Rena, when she was a baby, she was platinum blonde, like white blonde. And then we'd wash her hair and it looked dark. It looked a little bit brown, and then it would dry up lighter. Well, inks kind of do that too. They dry up a little bit lighter once they dry completely, and then they'll match the color that's on the lid. All right, so let's pull this off. Ooh, that is nice. That is pretty. So I'm going to just dab that to get rid of any ink that's resting on the foil.
All right, Carol wants to know, what else can you use instead of the Swiffer? We don't have the Swiffer in Australia.
If you can find, I would Google on, shopping anti-static cloth, because there's other brands other than Swiffer, and I think that in Australia they have a brand that is the equivalent of a Swiffer, but I just don't know the name of it. So that's what I would look up, anti-static cloth, and get that. Or you could even Google dusting cloth and see if something like that would come up. All right, I'm going to grab, sorry I had to disappear for a minute. I'm going to grab some red hot ink.
Any plans for adding cardstock in the spruces?
No, it coordinates really nicely with Christmas pine, and right now we don't have any plans to add cardstock colors for our trios. We do plan on adding some more trios, though.
Can you make a stamp sticky again?
It depends why it's not sticky. So if it's not sticky because it's been damaged by alcohol, no, you can't. I mean, you could put something like Tack It Over and Over again. There's a product called Tack It Over and Over, and it's like a glue that you put on, and then it doesn't dry completely. It dries tacky. You could use something like that. Some people use that on bare rubber, like when they take their stamps off of their wood blocks. But if it's not sticky because it's gotten oil on it, from your skin, and it's gotten dust on it from just being out and used, then you could just take it to the sink and wash it with warm soapy water and let it air dry, and it'll come right back like good as new. So it really depends on the reason why it's not sticky. All right, so I'm going to add a little red hot to these berries. I want these to be nice and bright. Okay, and then we'll pull that off. I feel like that red, that little pop of red is so pretty in there. I'll get rid of that. Clean that off. And it's tough because, we do use alcohol, like when we're cleaning our stencils and stuff, and the alcohol is right there on the table, and sometimes you just grab the wrong thing and it happens. So, but yeah, it really depends on the reasons. Okay, well, I think I've got everything I need now that I can start die cutting and assembling my card. I don't need my sticky mat anymore because I'm not going to be stamping, since we did Poly-Glaze instead of stamping. And I do have an embossing folder out because I thought I would do a little bit of embossing. So I'm going to cut this out using Master Layouts 2. I think I'm going to use Master Layouts 2. Here's Master Layouts 13. So let me show you my plan, what I was planning to do. So we're not going to do a comprehensive look at Master Layouts 13, but I was thinking of using this as the full panel and then doing a little triangle here and then doing a little panel here like this on the front of the card that would be my grounding element for my flowers. So that's what I was thinking. I thought that would be really pretty. So I have to look at Master Layouts 1 and Master Layouts 2 to see which die I think is going to look the best. So I've got Master Layouts 1 and Master Layouts 2 here. Let's take a peek at it. So Master Layouts 2 is what I'd like to use because everything else has stitching. So if I put this die here and then I had this stitch die here, oh yeah, that's going to look great. And then I had this stitch die here. I'd have lots of really pretty stitching. So I think I'm going to go with this layout. I feel good about it. Okay, so this is going to be my background panel. So let me get my die cutting machine out, and I want to stick with master layouts too.
How do you store the grip mat?
How do I store? I keep it in my MISTI. But okay, we froze for a minute and welcome back. So I'm going to go back to where I was here. I set up my die cutting machine, and I am going to use that large die from Master Layouts 2. See, like we didn't even miss a beat, right? So I'm going to cut this out using Master Layouts 2. Put my glasses back on. I wonder if we came back on Facebook too. So I don't know. I see a lot of YouTube people commenting, but if you're watching on Facebook, hopefully we came back. Now, if we didn't come back, I don't know if somebody would love to go over to the Facebook group and, oh, I see Facebook comments coming in. Yay! Okay. Woohoo! Boy, it's a good thing we didn't end the live. All right, so now I've got this cut out here with Master Layouts 2. And then I am going to cut out all my bits and pieces next while I have the die cutting back. While I have the die cutting set up, because I also want to do a little embossing with an embossing folder. So here is the big die that's going to cut out this. And I know that's, let me push that up a little bit. Okay. So let's cut this out next. Yeah, it was, I don't know what's going on tonight. Everything's breaking. So we'll check our stream tomorrow and make sure that there isn't anything that needs to be rebooted on our end. But hopefully it's as good as it was before. All right, now I'm going to cut this out. And oh, look how pretty that design is. And I love that this pokes out too and gives you that little empty spot in there. Isn't that just a pretty design? So nice. Okay, next we're going to cut out the words. All right, Tom, now we've experienced that. We know what to do, maybe. Right? Right. Tom's over there trying to be the Wizard of Oz, the man behind the curtain. It's been a day, right? Okay. It has. All right. And yes, somebody asked earlier, Tom, if you have a word of the day today. And I don't know if you do.
I do.
You do?
Phrase.
A phrase of the day. Do you want to do that while I'm cutting out all these little bits and pieces?
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Okay. Tom had to pass me a secret love note. Right on?
Oh, is that what it was?
Secret love note over here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Phrase of the day.
So our cameras, just we'll let people know, our cameras are a little messed up right now. So it's hard for Tom to actually be in the scene because of that glitch that we had. So that's okay, though. We can still hear you.
Okay. So in our house, we have a lot more, shall we say, electronic kind of appliances and things than we did like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And they make all kinds of different sounds.
Yes, they do.
And we're at the point now where some of them are making sounds for like a month.
Yeah.
And we don't know where it's coming from.
It's true.
We can't find it. It just makes a sound. It makes a little chirp or
Little beep.
beeps and things. So when that happens, you will find me going off the beep end.
Oh my God. I like it.
Right?
Yes.
Phrase of the day.
Back to the dead space.
Way back to the dead space.
Okay. So I'm trying to decide what to do next. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to emboss, and I'm going to use this folder right here. This is the lattice embossing folder, and it really is a cool embossing folder, and it gives you two completely different looks depending on which side you use. So I'm going to emboss this folder, and I need to turn my die cutting machine to 2D emboss, and then I am going to go ahead and send it through the machine. Yeah, I think we have like a Culligan water system in our house, and I think that's what's beeping. Tom and I were like sitting at breakfast this morning just looking at each other going, what is that sound? All right, so you can see on this side you've got protruding flat kind of tiles, and then the lines all sink in. And then on this side, everything sticks out. All those lines stick out, and the little diamonds kind of go back in. I think for this one, I'm going to use this right here. I think that's going to look really nice. Okay, so I'm going to use that. And then I'm trying to decide if I should cut this out with, I just had an idea. I think I could ink over this a little bit. I think I'm going to do that. And I think I'm going to use soft stone for that. Going to use a little bit of light gray. I don't know how that's going to look though with my gold. So maybe I'll go with light spruce. All right, let's do that, and then we'll cut it. So I'm going to move this out of the way. Or, you know what else would be really cool to use? This paper pad. This has it has that same purple in there. And I wonder if I use one of the plain ones like this, if that will look pretty. Ooh. Oh, I'm going to use this. Okay, changed my mind. So this is our Autumn Splendor paper pad. And I believe we might still have some of this in stock. Not 100% sure, but we need to do some new paper pads. But this is such a pretty paper pad, and I really like the, yeah, I'm going to use this instead. I'm going to keep this for another card, because I think my idea will look better if I use this. I love just kind of going off the cuff. It's fun. Okay, so now I'm going to cut this with that triangle that we talked about. So let's find the triangle die. Here's the triangle. And we do want this to be a little bit straight. Like, we don't want it to be too wonky because of, see what I have here? We want the lines to look right. So I'm going to take it right down here to the bottom. I know I'm a little bit off the screen, but I'm not going to worry about it because I know you guys know what I'm doing down here. But I'm just going to tape that down so it kind of stays in place, and I'm going to cut a triangle out of that. But I do need to put it back on die cutting. My thought process, it's like 600 tabs open and music's playing from somewhere. I don't know. That's my brain. Okay, now we've got that one. Let's pull that out. Look how pretty that one is with the stitching. Isn't that just elegant? I love that. It looks like a really nice linen. And then we have to add some black, but first we've got to add one more piece of white. So I have a white piece right here. We're going to cut this stitched rectangle. These are all from Master Layouts 13. So even though we're not working on Master Layouts 13 as a study tonight, This definitely will end up being one of the card ideas that I use for Master Layouts 13. So if you have this one, it is a fun one to use. Now I'm going to get a little bit of black cardstock. Let me find my black. Do I have any black? I must have black cardstock here somewhere. Okay, well I have one piece. I have one piece that's the right size for my background, so I'll use that, but I must have more black. Here's some black. So I'm going to cut the plain triangle. I've got the plain triangle. Let me see if I can get closer. My fuse is in the way, so let me see if I can get a little bit closer so that you guys can see what's going on here. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to use the plain triangle. I wonder if I could fit both of these. I think I can. Here's the plain rectangle. I think I can get them both out of here if I really snuggle them together. We'll see. We'll put that there. Okay. There we go. And let's see what this looks like, because I need these two pieces for my card. And then I was thinking Wild Wisteria might be the right card base color for this card. But I think you'll like it when it's all put together. Okay, we've got our rectangle and we have our triangle. So these will go back in the case, and I'll put that aside in case I need that scrap. So I think I have everything cut out now that we can do this card. All right. Let's get all our pieces. There's a lot of dies in that set, but here's all our pieces. Okay, and then I need my card base. So don't you think Wild Wisteria, this is Wild Wisteria, I think that will be a really nice color for this card base. So I'm going to cut one of those. Oh, I have one cut. It's a miracle. Here's one already cut. So I'm going to get my scoring board and I'm going to score that. If I can find my scoring board. Here it is. So let's score this at the 5.5 inch mark. This is cut 4 1/4 by 11. For my newer crafters out there that are learning how to cut these A2 card bases. 4 1/4 by 11. And then we're going to just press down.
Is there a master layout with ovals?
Yes. We do have some ovals. I would have to go on the website to figure out what number. But if you're looking for just ovals, I really do love our single and double stitched ovals because you get 3 different sizes in each of those sets, and I use them all the time. But we do have some ovals. I just, off the top of my head, I don't know. I never thought we'd have more than Master Layouts 2. And to think that in February we are going to be releasing Master Layouts 18, that's pretty amazing. And wait till you see Master Layouts 18. It's so amazing. And it coordinates with Master Layouts 2. So I'm putting that right on the list on Thursday, just so that people know. All right, so I'm putting all my pieces together. This is what I love about these die sets, is how you can get that little shadow layer in every one of these sets. I really love that. And then you can line it all up really neatly, and the stitching looks like it continues. Isn't that just crisp? I love that. It's crisp, crispy.
Some folks want to know when you can give some hints about ML18.
When? You know, I always kind of save our master layouts for the actual release party because they're so exciting. And so I think I'm going to just keep a little tight-lipped about that one. I'm sorry. I know not everybody's going to be happy with that answer. Okay, so I'm going to lay this on top here. Now you can always do 2 of these too if you want. You could do one on the bottom as well, which would be really pretty. Maybe even a different pattern if you wanted, just to kind of finish it off, and then just have that strip in the center. But I did want to keep a little bit of that sparkle in there. Alrighty, now we're going to add these 2 layers together. It's hard to keep a secret. I have to ask, is anybody here the kind of person that's like, oh my gosh, I got you a Christmas present and I can't wait to give it to you, and then you end up giving it to the person before Christmas because you just can't wait? You know, sometimes I do that, and then I'm so disappointed that I just couldn't hold off, you know? Why couldn't I hold off? It would have been so exciting. So I'm trying to be better about that and keep the surprise exciting. All right, so this is going to go there, and I really like that layout a lot. A lot. But I think I'm going to pop this up using some foam squares, just so that we get a little bit of dimension on this card. Maybe I'll put this right on the card base here too. So this is fun. I'm just so glad we're back. I can't even believe that our thing did that. We might have to do an update, Tom. Sometimes there's an update that does that to us. Okay. And then I will... Should I pop this up or should I pop the flower up? I think I'm going to pop the flower up instead. If I pop both up, whew, we're going to get high. Okay, so I could offset this a little bit. Now, hear me out. I'm not going to tack it down. I'm just going to drop it there for a second. Hear me out, because a lot of you are screaming no. I can feel it in my brain. But if we put the flower here, then we can have the thinking of you coming across like that. Now, we'll try it in the middle, because I didn't pat it down yet. So maybe we'll like it better this way. Just dead center, like that. And then having this in the center, and then the thinking of you over it. See, if we go off center, I think that's going to be weird. I don't know. What do you guys think? You know what? We could move this over here and do that. I think that would be okay too. The flower doesn't have to be perfectly centered. Do you like that? Let's see. Oh, you guys like the offset better. Okay. I'm good with that. So we'll offset it a little bit. So when we offset it, yeah, I think you guys are right. I think the offset is going to look a little cool and unexpected. All right, now we'll pop this flower up. Okay. Now, you know, I know it's not like the biggest deal in the world, but I always feel bad when people have different opinions and then somebody doesn't get their opinion. They don't get their way done. So I apologize to anybody who I offended tonight. But at least we can put that right in the center of that panel. I love how it frames it all out. Alrighty. I was throwing all these things all over the floor because I was like, they were sticking to me. And it feels easier to throw them on the floor, but then I had to vacuum in here because I was tracking little foam square liners all throughout the building, and everybody was like, what do you have all over your shoes? It was my foam squares, my liners. All right, so we'll get that right there in the center like that. Look good? No, I'm going to come this way just a little bit. There we go. Okay. And then we'll do thinking of you. We'll just go over that one flower and we'll pop that up so that it matches. And then we can add your in my prayers, like right down here. I like that. I do like that. Okay. So let's add the foam squares just to the ing and the u. Ing and the u. And then we'll put tape over here where it's going to go over the roses or whatever flowers those are. I know, can't please everybody. But boy, I'm going to definitely die trying, I'll tell you. And I'm sure a lot of you are that way too, right? So what do you think of this layout? Isn't that fun? I just love that little angled accent up there at the top. I think that that really jazzes it up just a little bit. Now, I have lost my scissors, my brand. Oh no, here they are. Thank goodness. I need to cut some foam squares in half for this little strip sentiment. I need a thin. Okay. So, again, I'm just going to put a little bit on this side. And then the rest will be tape. I'll do some tape over here. But I love the little bit of foil. And you know, the foil is classy. So even though we're doing a sympathy card, I still feel like it's not loud because we used a very delicate pattern. Might go over just a little bit more there. Okay. So you can see all the shine there. Oh, that's so pretty, isn't it? Love, love. All right, what do you guys think? Should I zoom in just a bit? I'll zoom in just a little bit. This is a fun layout. I feel like I've done a lot of cards with this kit already. But that is a fun layout. And all that foil. See how good that fuse works in the Poly-Glaze? Like, you don't see anything. There's no foil mist there at all. All right. Well, I think it's time to give away a gift card. But before we do, I'm just going to ask you guys if you liked tonight's video, and I sure hope that you have. If you wouldn't mind giving this video a thumbs up, because it really does help our channel, and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, because we are so close to 200,000 subscribers. And when we get there, we're going to do a big party, and we're going to do some pretty good giveaways. So we would love to have you as a subscriber, part of our Gina K Designs family. And then if you would like to join our Facebook group, we would love to have you. You can join 48,000 crafters over on Facebook in the Gina K Designs and Stamp TV Friends group. We have a lot of fun over there, and we all share our Gina K Designs projects. So that's a lot of fun. And then if you see anything that you like tonight and you didn't catch Brianne's link, you can head over to our website at ginakdesigns.com, and you'll be able to find everything there. And remember, if you want an inkstand or 3 or 4, head over to Brianne's shop. It's called the Inkstand Shop, and she will link that again, I'm sure, for you. And she's got a 15% off for our viewers using the code GK15. So thank you so much for that, Brianne. We absolutely love you and appreciate all of your hard work. And then to give our viewers a discount on top of it, you're pretty much a rock star. All right, so we are going to give away a $15 gift card. So Tom, why don't you take over the screen and you can give away this gift card. What do you think?
Oh, no, you stay right where you are.
Okay.
And we're going to do, let's see if our drummer works here.
Okay. Hopefully it's not a horse whinny.
Okay, the winner is Cindy Neander. Cindy Neander.
Yay, Cindy! Congratulations. Congratulations, Cindy. We're so happy for you. All you have to do is send your name and email address to info@ginakdesigns.com, and we will get that digital gift card right out to you. Well, guys, thanks so much for hanging in here during our glitch tonight. We're glad that you didn't leave, and we're glad that we were able to complete a card for you. Now, remember, on Thursday here on my YouTube channel, we are going to have our second installment of the Master Layout series. We're going to be working with Master Layouts 2. And so if you're behind in that, you can watch the Master Layouts 1 video so that you're up to speed. Maybe you're going to want to make your binder if you want to do it along with us. That's great. If not, you might have your own way of organizing, and that's fine too. And then in the and I wanted to tell you, Jennifer McGuire and I are going to go live together on Friday. We have another tag team video for you, and we are going to be exploring dye inks and techniques that you can do with dye inks. So that's going to be on Friday. So we've got Thursday coming up. We've got Friday coming up. Lots of fun things on the way. So until Thursday, everybody, stay safe, stay healthy. We love you all so very much, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.